Asteya. So Asteya is the third Yama. So Yama is the first limb in Patanjali's 8-limb process to enlightenment. Asteya translates to non-stealing. So like all of these inquiries, they're very vast. Sometimes we can start at the base, the most literal understanding of asteya or non-stealing, and that is, in Google definition, when you take from someone else and leave them without, or take the belongings of someone else's. So that's the base level. This is a very interesting Yama. It's becoming evident through the study of the Yamas that our society is currently structured on a unstable platform. So in the talks of the Upanishads, in the talks of Alan Watts, and pretty much every book of wisdom has a similar understanding of a trinity, like a tripod, 3. 1, 2, 3. And this trinity is sort of the roots that stabilizes planet Earth's way of living with each other, of spending money, and of our spiritual quests. So one of the structures is religion or spirituality. One of the structures is communication, media. And one of the structures is how we give and receive through bartering. But what's currently in place is money. So currently, if we look at non-stealing, asteya as a society's karma, as an external viewpoint, there's just a few people in the world that are stealing from the rest of the world. So they have most of the money, and it then leaves many people, millions of people, with less than to be able to provide their basic needs. Imagine countries where the people have to line up for a handful of rice. They don't even know if there's enough for them to receive that, or have nowhere to sleep at night, or have had laws where it's legal to take their children. So our government, society, based on this structure, is currently a corrupted version of what it could be. Patanjali, who wrote the Yoga Sutras, is one of the most important minds of all time, all school, new school, old school, all school. Patanjali's ability to break down enlightenment in 8 limbs and then break them down further with the yamas and niyamas is the foundation is the map for sustainable economy, for a sustainable environment, for sustainable unity and connection with maybe even more millions of people on the earth at the same time. When we have spiritual wisdom making the decisions of how to live sustainably, it's coming from a place of wholeness. Yoga and yogis are whole. They've yoked all avenues of themselves, or are yoking all avenues of themselves, and making the decisions from there versus the current platform of governing, which is theft, illegal, and theft, legal. That's the current system that has control of one of the trinities. Many laws we have are based around legal theft. So you can see what a challenge Asteya is in our culture. From a young age, we have been trained, programmed to steal natural resources, take material objects in excess, be competitive. From a young age at school, it's competition, comparison, success. How much money can you make, and how many resources can you take? A lot of the time it's seemed as wealthy to have a lot in your house, to store, to hoard. And all of this conditioning of what is wealthy comes from the root cause: I'm not good enough. So even though these few people are running the world and have trillions of dollars and all this power, deep down, they're not balanced human beings. They're not yoking their mind, their body, their spirit. Deep down, they have an affirmation about themselves: I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough is the personal lie that then translates out into, I need to buy more, I need to have the latest shoes, I need to get my hair done in this certain way, I need to make all these millions of dollars. When, like, check out the yogis that just sit in the caves, yeah. They have a handful of rice, maybe a day or a week, sit in a sarong. They're not poor, they're not needy, they're not third world. They got everything they need. We have another law of attraction and abundance. So somehow you and I need to take the knowledge in and then construct these spiritual laws in a way to suit our consciousness, our life, our happiness, our joy. Some of you may want to renounce from the world completely and all possessions and really That is what Asteya is pointing at on a deeper level. Renounce from everything. Renounce from all worldly possessions. This is such an interesting sutra by Patanjali. He says, by being established in non-stealing, the yogi attains all wealth. All wealth comes from being established in non-stealing. What wealth is he talking about? What are the elites missing out on? What are we missing out on every time we think that our joy is in something, is in taking something? Taking from the earth. A quote by Lao Tzu, be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world becomes to you. So Lao Tzu and Patanjali are pointing to the whole world comes to us when we realize nothing is lacking. Whole world comes to us. Swami Shivananda says, desire or want is the cause of stealing. So Asteya, non-stealing, is the equation for equilibrium on the planet. Minimalism is a wonderful practice, a wonderful path where you only have the things you need. We want to train ourselves to feel so secure that all our needs will come at lightning speeds, that we don't need to hoard, that we don't need to store. All our needs will come at lightning speeds, as suggested by these great spiritual teachers, Lao Tzu, Swami Shivananda, and Patanjali. Sutra 37, when non-stealing is established, all the jewels, wealth, approach the person. Approach the person. Not even then you'll know, where to go to get it. It approaches us. So we can definitely copy, recite, be inspired by others, but we're not stealing from them to leave them with nothing or to leave them in a state of not having. Could stealing ever be okay? Could it be a heroic act? Robin Hood stole from the poor. No, he didn't. Stole from the rich and gave to the poor. When I Googled this, is stealing okay? Google said, if you don't have food. So all of these teachings have to be not taken literally, but applied individually to the individual depending on the situation at hand. Comparison is the stealing of joy. Comparison is the stealing of joy. So comparison, competition is, we are robbing ourselves from all the jewels of the world when we do that. How ironic, we think we're going to be getting something and in fact we're robbing ourselves. The stealing is really the mass energy that's been on this planet for a very, very long time. Can you believe this? That in this country, so much stealing has happened. Whether it's Scott Morrison or whatever politician, because remember the government, whoever's Liberal, Labor, they're just playing out a deeper narrative that's happening. Because one of the structures is held down by power, greed, imbalanced chakras and meridians. That same structure will exist, but we're moving into, through the development of your own heart and consciousness, a more sustainable holder down of that power. Someone that's yoking their body, their spirit, or an energy that's yoking its body, spirit, heart, all together. So they steal the water, they sell it to China, they do fracking, constantly taking from the earth, constantly taking from the richness of the soil. They have a much larger paycheck than a lot of other people. So it's this caste system that still exists throughout the whole world. Australia is doing much better than some countries where the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, and that contrast is so much of a contrast, such an imbalance, and perceived somehow as acceptable in these people's viewpoint. The stolen generation. We stole their land, and my beautiful friend Gemstone said yesterday, our Indigenous brothers and sisters don't agree that their land got stolen because it's no one's land in the first place. It's Mother Earth. The stolen generation. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander descent who were removed from their families by the Australian, who were removed from their families by the Australian, federal and state government. The state government agencies and church, that's the other structure within the Trinity, our spirituality, which is currently run by the Vatican. That is the movement that has the most power. And not to say that the Vatican have to get out, they just become more whole, or they can get up. Removed by the church. Would Jesus do that? Under acts of their respective parliaments, they were taught to reject the Indigenous heritage and forced to adopt white culture, assimilation, and absorbing them into white society. I invite you to join me for a minute. Meditation, eyes open or closed, to feel into the depths of that and to feel into where you're at in your life and where you feel the imbalance of taking from natural resources, the minerals, the land, jealousy, comparison, competition, a talent of another, time, looks, knowledge. And see in your heart how all of that need, desire dissolves when we realize I am good enough, I am secure, I am whole. Yoga is the process of social justice, of enlightenment, of creating a sustainable future. The blueprint's already there. Yeah, the map is there. It's for us now who are interested in it to pick up the books, to read them, to share the knowledge, and to birth a sustainable life on planet Earth. Thank you so much for joining. Namaskar.